Pierre, you know I love a bold call, and you're rarely short on those. $155, that's a call that Apple's going to drop 29% from where it is right now. And I wonder, given that iPhone unit sales have already been slowing, what convinces you that it has that far to fall when they've shifted investors' attention to services?
It's a very good question, John, and a question I get a lot from investors. I think the math works well for investors as long as they get some comfort that iPhone sales are stabilizing. And so last year, I had a similar call. iPhone sales came down by 15%. The stock reacted more than 29% at that time on that kind of development. And then the stock recovered because investors got that feeling that now this was like behind us and iPhone sales will stabilize. The call I'm making today is that we're heading into a second step down for iPhone shipments. And that's based really on looking at the combination of 170 million iPhone Xs, so latest generation iPhones already being in the wild, combined with the fact that people now replace their phone more after 3 years than after 2 years. So that means about a third of the first-hand install base is very new, latest generation iPhones, and that's going to be a hangover demand for this year. And I see shipments dropping by another about 15%.
I mean, is that your worst case scenario too? And even if it plays out that way, do you think the stock gets to 155?
So yes, definitely.
I just want Amit's take on that.
Yeah, down 15% after a difficult 2018 seems unlikely to us, right? In our worst case, we think it's down 7 to 10% kind of range. I would say this. I think the argument and the discussion on Apple has to be much, much more broader than what iPhone units do. It ought to be more on what the iPhone install base is doing, which, by the way, is growing consistently. And importantly, I get that people will extend their replacement cycles, i.e. you don't buy a new phone every month, every couple of years, I should say, but you're buying more Apple products, be that the AirPods or Apple Watch or Apple services. So I do think the discussion ought to be more broader on what's happening to the install base and how much are you monetizing the iOS install base versus just looking at units over here.
Pierre, how would you respond to that?
Well, I think I like the argument about the quality of Apple's install base, the quality of its ecosystem, the way people even, if they don't feel like they want to replace their phones that often, they still feel fairly much stuck in it, in the ecosystem, and that's something that Apple can monetize. Now, it's a very difficult equation. Apple has already increased very significantly the costs of their phones, and what have we seen? People stick to their phone longer. So it's kind of a zero-sum game, and it's painful today. It was very exciting 2 years ago, and now it's painful. Similarly, as Apple gets into offering you new services and continues to grow revenues from existing services, and even as you see Apple, for instance, increasing revenues for other devices, like the AirPods, the Watch, all what you see is that Apple is playing also with a finite amount of money. And so the upside from these new services and new opportunities are real. I completely agree with Amit. But they will be valued the day we have confidence iPhone direct revenues and direct profits will reach a real stable and sustainable floor, which we are not there yet.